Hello, I am Mr. E. I am here to do the visual arts part of Creative Arts Camp. And this week you're going to hear a bunch of really cool stories. And in this part of the week, what we're going to be doing is creating a field guide. Now, what this field guide is it's a small booklet that you're going to be able to add to every single day, something that you learn. But today, for day one, we actually got to make the booklet. Now, if you came and you picked things up from church, you should have a couple pieces of construction paper, a bunch of different colors so you can pick what you want to use. There's regular white paper. And you have this kind of see-through paper, which is called tracing paper. And we're going to be using a little bit of all of this. You also have 2 big popsicle sticks, a couple rubber bands, and some crayons. Now, 2 things that are really helpful that weren't included in the pack are a scissors and a hole punch. Now, if you don't have a hole punch at home, you could use, or have your parents help you use, a sharp pencil to poke holes, or you could even poke holes with the scissors. But remember, you got to be safe. So that's something that your parents are going to have to help you with. So let's just get right into building this. Now, you can choose any of the colors that you would like. For me, I think I'm going to go with this kind of teal color because it's one of my favorites. And how we're going to start is we're going to just carefully fold this paper in half. And you want to be careful because we're going to be using this paper to do some measuring of our other pieces of paper later. But we're going to fold it in half once, and then we're going to fold it in half again. So it makes a much smaller rectangle. Now, we're going to unfold our paper, and we're going to follow those lines that we made with our creases. So if I flip this paper over, you can see we have a crease here and one right here. And what you're going to do is you are going to cut right along the shorter crease. So then we have 2 tall and skinny rectangles. And what these are going to be our covers, because we're going to fold them in half. And we'll set those aside to use in a little bit. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to take one of our white pieces of paper, and we're going to fold it in the same way. I'm going to fold it once in half. Okay, and fold it in half one more time. And we're going to open it up. And this time, instead of just cutting on the shorter crease, we're going to cut both creases. So I'm going to still start with the shorter one, and I'm going to very carefully follow where I folded. Okay? And we're going to go this way. And we're going to go down like that. And these white pieces are going to become pages. So we're going to set those over onto our colored paper. Now, we're going to take one of our pieces of tracing paper, and we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to fold it in half. And in half again. And we can open it up and cut it. All right, so we have a bunch of pages because tracing paper is going to make pages, and so is our white paper. And what we need to do real quick, just for the books to fit together nicely, is we're going to line up our white paper with our tracing paper. Okay? And again, make sure if you need help, you're asking your parents. And we're going to make our tracing paper the same size as our white paper. So I'm just lining it up and trimming off any of the extra little pieces. And again, it's okay if it's not perfect, because this is your field guide. All right, I'm just going to put those off to the side. Now, we have our pages, and they're almost done. But first, we got to do something to our covers. Now, we're going to be using the popsicle stick to hold our covers together along with all of our pages. And what we're going to do, you'll see that your popsicle stick is almost the same length as your covers. And that's really nice because it makes the next part kind of easy. So what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we have the folded pieces out on our cover. And we're going to have the open pieces by our popsicle stick. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a crayon. So I want to pick one that will stand out on my paper. So I got kind of a dark one. And I'm going to make 2 dots kind of inside of where our popsicle stick goes. Okay? I'm going to take my hole punch or sharp pencil or scissors, anything you got around the house that you can use, and we're going to punch a hole right through both of our covers. Okay? Now, we got to do the same thing to our pages. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of my covers, I'm going to grab a couple of my pages, and I'm going to line them up with the edge. And I can see, oh, I see my white paper through both sides. And I'm going to use my cover to show me where to poke the holes. So we got holes poked there, and the other ones, other sides. And I'm going to use the same thing, with my tracing paper. So I'll line them up. And you can see my tracing paper through both holes. I'm going to just punch straight through. All right. Now this part you really got to pay attention to because it's going to help us the rest of the week. And that is the order that we are stacking our papers. Because I want to make sure that everything that we do is in the same order that we did our stories. So we're going to start with one piece of tracing paper. And we're going to stack one of our white pieces of paper on top. Then we're going to do another white piece of paper and a third white piece of paper. Then we're going to take the rest of our tracing paper and put that on top. And we're going to finish with a white piece of paper. Okay. And we'll make sure that we can see through the holes when we stack them all up. Right? We're going to look, make sure our tracing paper is on top, and we can stack in our book covers. And again, you just want to make sure that you can see through the holes. So I got to move things around a little bit. Okay, I think I got to flip this one upside down. There we go, now I can see to the table. Okay, Now I think this is probably the trickiest part of putting together this book. Okay? I promise the rest of everything that we're doing this week isn't going to be quite so tricky as this. So what we're going to do is we're going to pick one of the bigger rubber bands. Okay? Because we need to be nice and stretchy. We're going to take our rubber band and we're going to put it through all those holes, because it's going to be the rubber band that actually holds the whole book together. So we got our rubber band, we pulled it through the holes, and we're going to put in our popsicle stick. Okay. And on the other side, we're going to pull it nice and tight. And we're going to stretch our rubber band so that it goes all the way to the other set. Oh, like I said, this is the tricky part. And we got to make sure we can see through all of our holes. And you know what's really nice? If you have a hard time with this, because something doesn't line up perfectly, or something like that, what you can do is you can take your hole punch or your pencil or whatever you used, and you can just poke another hole right through everything. So we're going to take our rubber band and we're going to put it back through so that it comes out on the side with our popsicle stick. Okay? And we're going to put our popsicle stick back through the rubber band on that side. And now we have our book. Okay? And that is our day one craft.